There it goes. Okay. I think I gave y'all all the answers, or we checked them. All right, make sure this looks... Is this your... There you go. Is this your first problem? Okay, so this is an order of operations. I'm pretty sure all of these are the ones that are going to be on there. So for order of operations, y'all just want me to go through every one of them? Yeah, okay. Let me cover it up so I have room to write. So you do, if you remember parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. So I have parentheses. So it's going to be 8, and what would 10 plus 1 be? 11. And is that a plus sign? It's a division? Oh, why did I ask? I cannot see that. And then what is 4 minus 3? 1. So now, parentheses, check. What is it next? Exponents. There are none. So check. We can keep going. Now you multiply or divide from left to right, like as if you were reading. And multiplication doesn't necessarily come before division. You just go from left to right. So what's 8 times 11? 88. And now what's 88 divided by 1? 88. Did y'all get that answer? Okay. So that is problem. Honestly, if you typed that in your calculator exactly like that, it should work. If you type it in the slightest bit wrong, it probably wouldn't. What I would do if I was taking a test is I would work that out myself, and then I would take out my calculator and just see if we got the same answer. Okay? And if they didn't, do it both ways again and see if you messed up. All right, the next one, again, you can type this in your calculator. Has to be typed in just right, though. All right, but I would just do the square root of each of those numbers. Like, and make sure you're paying attention, okay? The square root of 9 is 3, because of 3 times 3. What is the square root of 4? 2. So your answer is 3 times B. Okay, we're good on that? I put some of those on there just because I thought we needed some easy ones from the beginning of the year. All right, this one, solving an equation. I know you can plug and play, that's fine. I'm just going to take us back, solving an equation the old way, because we just keep adding steps and it gets more and more difficult.
Easy with 5.
So, yes, so you can plug them in and see what number works, but the way you solve an equation is you add 3. You just do the opposite. You're trying to get your letter by itself. So my variable t equals pi. Okay? Let's keep going. This one, I do like this one. It shows that you do know how to solve an equation. Let me rewrite it so I have to show you. So on this one, you have this big fraction. Everybody hates fractions, right? Best way to get rid of a big fraction like that is to multiply that denominator, because then it gets rid of the denominator. So watch. If I multiply by negative 3 over here, what do I have to do over there? Multiply by negative 3. So watch what happens. These two would cancel out. Okay, that was the whole point of multiplying by negative 3. You wanted it to go away. So what's left over here?
B minus 6.
B minus 6, and it equals a positive 27. Negative 9 times negative 3. Okay, now this looks identical to the problem before it. All you did was one step extra on this problem. So how do I solve for B now?
Add 6 to 27.
Add the 6 over here. And B is
33.
33. There you go.
You can plug and play on that one.
You can also plug and play on that one as well. Depending on, I'll show you this little trick. I learned it this year. I didn't know I had this on this calculator. I just got this calculator this year. There's older calculators, but they're just as good. And then this one is, if you have one like this, it's newer. But this little green button right here, it's the alpha. And so not everybody's calculator has this. And do y'all see this weird green fraction bar? It's kind of like what it looks like in college algebra on the computer. You'll use that a lot. But if you press that, so see how it makes a big fraction like that, then it would be easy to plug and play. So if I was doing b minus 6 over negative 3, like say I plugged in 9. 9 minus 6 over, what did I say? -3. Does that equal -9? No. So that fraction bar like that is really nice to use. So you don't have to use parentheses and all that stuff. Have I shown you all that in this class? I don't know if I have or not, but we've used it some this year in other classes. But I just solve it. But it's also a good idea, plug it back in and make sure it works, okay? If you're wanting to make sure you get all your answers right, you can check them. Okay, let's keep going. Number 5. On this one, you have the 2 is outside of parentheses, so you're going to distribute it, just means multiply it. So 2 times y. 2 times, and that's like a -3, or you can just put the minus sign. What's 2 times 3? 6. Okay? Or you could have said 2 times -3 is -6. Either way, it's the minus sign in front of the 6. Okay? Now, how do you solve this equation? Yeah, we're going to add 6. We're trying to get the y by itself. So we move this by doing the opposite. 2y equals 10. And then divide by 2.
5.
And y equals 5. Plug and play, again, also works on these, okay? But you've got to learn how to, or you've got to know how to solve an equation. Because in next year in Algebra 2, if you don't have multiple choice, there is no plug and play. All right, are we good with that one? Y'all writing? I'll give y'all a second. Okay. Are we good? Number 6. So now we're stepping it up a little bit on our solving equations. Are we all done writing? Yeah, okay. If not, y'all speak up. Tell me if you need me to wait longer. We have an X on each side, so there's one of these on there. I always like to move, you have to combine your variables. I like to move my smaller one. When you do that, most of the time it gets rid of, like, there's no negatives. Not all the time, but.
So plus -3 or plus 3?
Well, is -3 or -6 smaller?
3.
-6 is actually smaller than
Oh,
-3.
yeah.
So watch. Now, if you move the 3x, it is just fine. You will eventually get the same answer if you do it right. I just like to move the smaller one because what happens is I end up with a positive number in front of my x. Okay? If you moved the 3, you would have this equation. What is that? Okay? You just keep going from there. You would add 6, divide by -3, you would get the right answer. Okay? So that's just fine. This one, I'm going to subtract 9. What is that equal? -15. And then what? Divide by 3. And we get -5. And again, plug and play also works on that one. You can plug in the numbers and see what works. Do I need to work out the other side if you did it the other way, or is everybody good with this? We're good? Okay. Okay, let me move that up and look at number 7. Okay. Number 7. This one is a proportion, so you cross multiply. Usually we say cross multiply and divide. I think this one has a little bit of an extra step though. So what am I going to multiply the 5 with?
X minus 9.
Both of those. Yes, the 9, but also the x. Too,
So
okay?
5x minus 45.
That's right, 5x minus 45. And then I'm going to multiply 7 times 6,
42.
and it's 42. Now it looks like the same thing I did on the last problem, okay? So I would add 45,
87.
5x equals 87, divide by 5, and x is, what did we get on this one? Oh, thank you, it doesn't simplify, 87 over 5. So this one, y'all, plug and play would be awful. It would work, but to me that would be like, I don't know, trickier to use plug and play. Yeah, or you would have, do what?
Like,
You could do the fraction bar twice, yeah. So it just, to some people I think, I don't know, to me it would just be easier just to solve it real quick. But yeah, you can do the fraction bar minus 9 over 7. Plug in the fraction, yeah. Absolutely works. Let me give y'all a second. Okay, are we good? Anybody still writing? No? Okay, number 8. All right, we're on the back. I mean, on the next page, not the back, but. Okay, this one, it's also a proportion. So it doesn't matter how you set it up. You may not set it up the same way. You just have to be consistent. Okay? So I'll start with x. What do y'all want to put x with? 2. What did y'all say, 2? Okay, we can put x with 2. There is one thing x cannot go with. It cannot go with 10. See how this is the long side? It can never go with 10. Okay? You can do long side, short side, long side, short side, or long side, short side, short side. Okay? X can never go with 10. I don't know how to tell you that if you can't see it. But if we're going to do x with 2, then I must be consistent and do the same thing over here in the same order. What is that going to be? 11 goes with 10. Okay? Some of you may have set it up, x goes with 11, so 2 goes with 10. That works. You can also start over here. You could have said 11 to x, 10 to 2. There's like 4 different ways to set this up. Consistency is key. So I'll do this one. 10 times x is 10x. And what's 2 times 11? And then what do? Divide by 10. Did they give us decimals or fractions?
Decimals.
So it's 2.2. Okay? So you've got 2 proportions, number 7 and number 8. So on this one, cross multiply and divide. Okay, number 9, this one, all it wants here, I'll just put the answers up here on this one. All it wants is the graph. Does anybody need to still copy what I had? Okay, y'all do not be scared to speak up if y'all need me to stop for a second. It says D is less than -1. All I want is the graph that matches that. So what way is less than? First of all, it's going to the left. So I know it's going that way. All right, those numbers are less than -1. Is it an open or a closed circle? Open. So that's going to be this one. It would have been a closed circle if it was equal to -1. But this one does not have the equal part on it. So that one was just A. Okay, next page. I don't think we need long on writing that one down. This one, just, you cannot forget that rule on this one. First of all, how do you solve for x? Yeah, you divide by -9. A lot of people are going to think add 9, okay, because they see that -9 or that -9. -9 is not being subtracted or added. It's being multiplied. So you divide by -9. And your rule, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, what do you do with that sign? You flip it. So over here, that cancels out to 1x. And what's -9 divided by -9? 1. So I'm looking at less than or equal to 1. So that is a closed circle, and it's going to the numbers that are smaller than 1. Okay? That's D. They've been watching the movie forever. She told me what it was, I forgot. Okay, number 11. Okay, this one, it was that one that's a trick. So let's just solve it first and then we'll go back and see. And y'all, I'm hoping by Friday, like y'all should be so used to these problems. That'll be like, what, the 4th time you've seen them, I think, 3rd, 4th. So 2 times B, 2B. And then 2 times -4, -8, or -8. We had a problem just like this on the front page. It just had an equal sign was all. Just like it though. So we add 8. So 2B is greater than 20. Then what do? Divide by 2. I'm not changing my sign. It's not a -2. So B has to be greater than 10. That means I can plug in any number right here that's greater than 10. Okay? And you could do trial and error too. You could do plug and play on this one. So what number is greater than 10 in your answer choices? It was 12? Okay. So it was 12. If you wanted to, type that in your calculator and see. Let me just do this. I know y'all might not need it, but you can do 2 parentheses, 12 minus 4, close parentheses. Everybody good with that? Is that number greater than 12? That's your answer then, okay? But again, you must type it in just like that. Okay. Number 12, and then I'll erase that. Is anybody still writing that? No? Okay. All right, so number 12, this one I left on there. We didn't do this a lot, but it's definitely something you'll see again. How do you write this as an inequality? This is what they call interval notation. You may not see this again until college algebra, maybe algebra 2. But interval notation is what they'll use instead of writing this in college algebra. So like you don't enter in your answers like this. You enter them in on the computer like this. So a parentheses means it's not equal to that number, okay? A bracket means it is going to have an equal sign. But for this one, so you're saying you're going all the way from negative infinity. That means, like if we had a number line, all those negative numbers that way. And they're coming all the way up to what number? -1, but they're not equal to it. So you're looking at the numbers less than -1. So it's either this one or that one. And what word's in the middle there? Or. So what word am I going to use? Or. And then that means you're starting at 7 and you're going to infinity. All the numbers bigger than that. So that's why it says x is greater than 7. Okay? And infinity signs always have a parenthesis. You can never be equal to infinity because that's not really even a number. So you can't be equal to it. If it had a bracket, it would have that equal sign underneath it. But I don't think it will. I think it'll be just like this. Are y'all good with that one? I'm hoping that's an easy one. If it's not, get me to explain it again later. Come see me later. Because I put that one on there to try and be easy. Okay, number 13. This one, I'll cover it up and then we'll look at the answers. So there are going to be 2 answers. That's what I would need you to remember. When you have absolute value, that's a distance. So it could have been a positive or a negative number. That's what I need you to remember. So if you look at answer choices, you're looking at the one that has how many answers? 2. Okay? And if this has an equal sign, so do your answers. Okay? And equal to means it's closed circles. Without doing any math, the only answer on here with 2 answers and closed circles is A. And we didn't even do any math on that, okay? Process of elimination is a great thing. But I'm going to do it because you'll see this again. All right, so you're saying what's in here is greater than or equal to 7 or negative 7. And what happens, what's our rule when we multiply by negative? You flip the sign. Anytime you multiply or divide by negative, you flip that inequality sign. How do I solve this one? Add 4. Add 4. So D is greater than or equal to 11. And over here, add 4. And D is less than or equal to negative 3. Okay? And then it was just a graph. So we've got negative 3 going this way and starting at 11 going that way. Closed circles because of that right there. Closed circle. Okay, because of the equal part. On both of them. Okay, are we good with that one? Yeah? Ooh, I hope we finish this today. I guess we'll have tomorrow too, but. Number 14. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. Number 14, it says describe the pattern. I'm going to just leave some of these up like this. For this, so how do you're either adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. Okay, that's all it's going to be. So how do we get from 26 to 23? We subtract 30. That's our answer. And then just double check. That would be 14 and then 11. Okay? On this one, you have to know domain and range. All right? Domain, then range. It asks in order. Domain is your X, range is your Y. Your domain is all those numbers. What's your range?
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's those numbers. Okay? Comes in order. So if you're going to list them, don't do it like that on your paper. Like, just list your domain. That's negative 7, negative 2, 1, and 6. It's like saying, hey, those are all my X values. What are all your Y values? You said negative 4. So I'm going to put my range is negative 4. Some of y'all mix those up. Okay? It's going to ask in order, domain, then range, X, then Y. Okay? Several people missed number 16. It says use a vertical line test. If you want to draw a graph, you can and see if it passes that test. Vertical line test means it can't go through twice. Okay, like if I had, let's just draw a picture. If I had this picture right here, okay, if I did a vertical line, how many times did it cross that graph? Once, twice, not a function. Okay, so that's the vertical line test. You can graph it and make sure that a vertical line doesn't go through, or all you can just check X values. Cannot have the same X value. Negative 5, 0, negative 2, 4. Are any of the X values the same? So yes, it's a function. It is a function. It passes the test, okay? Yes. Does that make sense? Maybe, kind of? Okay. All right, let's keep going. Number 17. Now we're getting into slope. So how do you find the slope? That's all this one wants. No equation.
Domain over range.
So it's actually range over domain. It's actually y's over x. Because think, do y'all remember it's rise over run? Rise is your y-axis. Run is your x-axis. That's why it's you put the y's in the top, the x's in the bottom. So what y do y'all want to start with? The 4 or the 0? 4. Okay. So 4 minus 0. Now you must go in the same order for your x's. What are those? 4 minus 7. So I get 4 over negative 3. Which one of those is it? C. Okay. Number 18. This was actually several problems in college algebra. Yeah. Yeah. What's the slope in number 18? Negative 5. That's just something you need to know. You've got to know that. It's just a number with your x. That's your slope, -5. The slope is -5, okay? What is the y-intercept? 4. And you're going to use this on your graph in just a second. That means that's your starting point, that's your rise over run. That's how I'm going to graph this one. You can also use your calculator. Okay? Any questions on 18? It's just that's your slope, that's your y-intercept. That's it. You just have to remember it. 19, I'll graph on the calculator in a second. Can y'all tell me on 19 what's my y-intercept? -3. Same question I just asked you on 18. My y-intercept is -3. I'm going to go on my y-axis to -3. Okay? What's my slope? 3. I didn't mean to cross it. My slope is 3. That means I'm going to go up 3 and over 1. There's my line. Okay? That's the easiest way. I didn't even have to type it in my calculator. But if you do, go to y equals, and we've got 3x minus 3. Now, you cannot just draw a random line. I will not accept that. Like if I just see a line going up on that graph, 0 points on that one. I have to see at least 2 points. 2 points make a line. So to find them, you can press second table, and then you can pick 2 points that you want to plot on there. Reviewing. So you could pick any 2 points. Like I picked the 0 and the 1. What happened to you? Oh, you're old. That's right. I forgot. You told me that this morning. I'm recording. Do you want me to, let me look real quick. Hold on.
You can just
I got this, Miss Amanda. Miss Amanda, I got this.
Do you want that color on? I've got stars. The white one probably, I mean, it's up to you. White looks good. You want white?
I think we got into some white.
Okay, well look, just come ask me if you need, you know, yeah, it's recording. No, I don't know what it is, but it's recording.
Hey there.
But, hey there,
I'm not even spelling it.
what did he? Hey, is that what you needed? It'll work?
Yes, thank you. At least
Y'all just fast forward. If you watch the video, just fast forward a few minutes.
Ignore Cannon.
And ignore Cannon. Okay, Cannon, go sit down. All that work. Okay. Everybody good on this one? Yep, we can keep going? All right. Number 20. On this one, it says, write an equation in point slope form. And I think y'all need to know these. That's like going to be the hardest part of the test is remembering those slope formula, slope intercept, and point slope.
Do we have to know?
Yeah.
Why do we need to know?
Because you will do this again in geometry, algebra 2,
We have to write the formulas down?
advanced math, and college algebra. And in college algebra, they're going to think, you have to know that. You have to know that. That's the only 3 things I'm asking you to memorize. So, all you'll have to, and they give you, like, you don't have to solve for anything, y'all. You just have to write it in order. So, and they kind of help you. Okay, we start with our y. It's supposed to be y minus the y value. So, what's that going to be? Y minus 1. Okay? And then it's our slope, which is what? -6. And then it's x minus the x value, which is what? 9. And look, they tell you it should be your y value and then your x value. Now, let's pretend I'm going to give you a brand new problem, okay? Because I don't know what they'll give you. They may or may not give you a negative. Let me put this as our problem, okay? This is our point, and I'll go with the same slope. So, brand new problem. All right, don't get confused. I'm making this up. This would be y minus the y value. What's the y value? 2. Equals our slope. And then I'm going to put x minus, what's our x value? -9. What happens to minus a -9? You're going to add. Okay, it's basically just the opposite. Goes with it. Okay? So you can just look up here and be like, oh, it's going to be the opposite. Y, then a -1. Slope. X, then a -9. It's just the opposite. Okay? Y'all can memorize that. You gotta try. Okay. Number 21. Let's see if we're gonna get through all these. Ooh, maybe.
I think we should stop.
But if we get through all these tomorrow, do some of y'all want a new sheet, or y'all just want to do the old, a new sheet, and see if you can do them? Okay. I'm just gonna make everybody a new sheet. Y'all can just. That's all we're gonna do is practice and then check your answers. Okay. Number 21. This one's super easy. It's either going to be a positive, a negative, or no. Okay? Is this one, does it look like it's going up, down, or no clue?
Same.
Does it look like it's going up? No. So it's not positive. Does it look like it's going down? Yes. That means it's negative. No correlation. Let me show you what that looks like. Is that graph going up or down, or we have no clue, or it's not? It's not going up or down, okay? That is what no correlation looks like. Does everybody get that? Positive correlation would be like this, the red dots. See how it's going up, okay? So that's what those mean. All right. Number 22. Was any of that on EOC? No, because one year I didn't teach this, and then they said that it was on the EOC. So this year I made sure to teach it, not on the EOC. Okay, this one I really like because you'll use it a lot in college algebra. So you have to remember, they give you statistics, a bunch of data. So we're going to press stat, and we're going to just press the enter button to edit it. And you can delete these one by one, or you can go up to the top, press the clear button, and it clears it all, enter. If you delete it, then I'll have to go in and reset your calculator. No big deal. But if you press the delete button, it deletes the list, like completely. There is no more list, okay? So I'm only going to enter in 1 through 8. I only have data for 1 through 8. If you put 9, your calculator is going to give you an error because there would be a blank spot next to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I've got 65, 67, 73, 74, 80, 84, 85. Okay? So, this one, it would be positive correlation. I can tell that without even doing anything. What are these numbers doing? They're going up. But anyway, let's press stat again, and we're going to calculate, and then you have to pick what kind of line you're trying to find. And it's just a line. You're in Algebra 1, we're just doing lines. In Algebra 2, we'll do quadratics more. So, oops, I did the wrong thing. Let me go back up here. It's number 4, okay? And then you just got to go down here and calculate it, and it gives you the equation. You just have to know, it's telling you, hey, the A goes in front of the X. So the 2.964 goes in front of the X, okay? Then here's your other number, all right? Now what do they want you to do? The second part says, is it missing instructions? I think it's missing some instructions, honestly, because it doesn't even tell you, what did I do? I deleted the instructions. Anyway, the R, the middle part, I don't really know, like, it wants to find the rate. You can tell already. If this is 0.99, that should be 99%. Anyway, 0.99 and 89 aren't the same. Anyway, I don't know what it's doing with the R. All you have to do is take your equation, which is either C or D, and plug in 9. That's the other part of this. So if I have 2.964 times 9 plus 62.286. And, I don't know why that's 0.99, but it's 89%. So it is what? C. So I honestly have no idea what they're getting that from. Is everybody good with that? Just find the first part and the third part. The equation and the answer to number 9. And maybe I can find the instructions for all of it and add it. Okay, number 23, you should know this, but you can use your calculator. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, but look, make sure tomorrow, don't just put an answer, check it. Okay, so if you do negative 4.7 to the 0 power, it's going to tell you it's 1. All right, or not tomorrow, I meant Friday. All right, number 24, you just have to know.
Can you have your attention, please? I need to see the following students in the office: Carter Breedlove, Mary Claire Jones, Hadley Young, Benton Yunt, Haley Smith, and that'll do it.
All right, on this one, so your 5 stays where it's at. No negative exponent. What happens to the K? It has a negative exponent, so what do? You move it to the bottom, and your H stays where it's at. So does everybody understand why your answer is C? Yes, it's just a rule you learned. Negative exponent moves. Everything else stays. Okay? 25. A lot of people miss this one because they put 5, and it is not 5. 5 has to be raised to the 3rd power. 5 to the 3rd power is what? 125. So it's one of these answers. Now your exponents, you multiply them. What's 9 times 3? So that's why it's this one. Okay, it's a rule. You have to remember that rule. That's from like chapter 7. Okay? What do you do with exponents on this one where we divide? You subtract them. Okay? All right. Do y'all need me to slow down? I was going kind of fast on this. No? Okay. I'm going to subtract them, and then I'll see if I have to move. So for my G's, what's 12 minus 23? Negative what? 11? Is that what we said? Okay, so, and I'm just going to write it here. Okay, it's kind of like once you subtract them, just write it over here. What's negative 7? Careful here, type in your calculator if you need to, especially if it's a final. Even if you think you know it, just check yourself. Negative 7 minus negative 18 is what? I think it's 11. Okay, because minus a negative, you end up adding. Then, now the last part, what do you do with a negative exponent? You move it to the bottom. And that's why it's going to be this one. H stays up top, the G moves to the bottom. Okay? So please make sure, even if you think you know it, use your calculator to subtract, because it's going to be a trick like that one. I think it has been on both study guides. All right, number 27. This one you just add like terms. Luckily I put the plus sign and not the minus sign. So you just add what is in common. So do I have anything else with a u to the 3rd? Yes. So what's 2 plus 4? 6u to the 3rd. All right, do I have any other u squareds? No. So I'll just bring that one over. And instead of doing... Yes, I meant to bring it to her yesterday. All she needs is one. I have several. So next is the 3, but I kind of want to go in order. I want to do my numbers last, or my constants is what they call them. So I just have a negative 4u. Okay, plus negative 4u, it's like that. And then what's 3 plus 8? 11. There we go. Okay. It's almost like having 0 plus negative 4u. Nothing plus negative 4u. That's why it's still the minus sign. Okay. Let's keep going. Anybody writing? No. 28. This one, FOIL method, because you're multiplying. It says use distributive property. That's just like the FOIL method. You just multiply. What is negative 3h times 3h? Negative 9h squared. That's right. What is negative 3h times negative 6? It's 18h. What is 2 times 3h? A 6h. And then 2 times negative 6, negative 12. Then you always check for like terms. Usually they're going to be in the middle. So it's negative 9h squared. What's 18 plus 6? 24h minus 12. And that's your answer on 28. Okay. Am I writing this? Almost done. I'm feeling good? Okay. 29, and I'm also videoing. I'll have it posted today. So if you didn't get something, it'll be on there. 29 and 30 are factoring. And, hold on, let me put this at the back. He is killing it today. Okay, so on this one, we put D and D. And what times what is 12? I'll just write it here. Yes, 6 and 2, 4 and 3, that's a 6. That's an ugly 6. Okay, now 4 and 3 add up to a positive 7. They need to both be negative. And it works. What is a negative times a negative? Still a positive. That's how it works. So all they don't want you to solve. Please don't change anything. That's it. Okay, if they wanted us to solve it, then we would move things around. But we don't. They don't. It's just B. This one of like the easiest problems, but you have to know it. All right? It's a difference of perfect squares. So it's S and S. And what times what is negative 9? Negative 3 and positive 3. There you go. Barely made it. Sorry, bell to bell. I told y'all yesterday I was going to teach bell to bell. Okay, tomorrow I'll just have y'all a review and you can do it at your own pace. You're going to what? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.